Welcome back to Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1. We're trying to figure out who killed Fabio. I think last time I was on the right track. We need to look at the evidence that Santos has, but for some reason it's not in the evidence room. It is, I think, in his cell, which is a little bit weird. Yeah, it is. It's in here. I didn't check this out last time. Let's have a look. I don't know why they left it in his cell. But anyway, so there's some keys.
I recognize the key from the altar room among these.
Okay, so he does have the key to the altar room, which is not surprising. Kurt Manchios' will and note. A small note attached to the will says, Santos, my hopeful slug. You begged me to include you in my will, so I did. Here's my latest revision of the will. Kurt, the text of the will under the note. Santos Pinchetti, the majordomo of the Manchios mansion, receives a jar of moustache wax and a salt lamp that he might always remember his caring employer, Kurt Manchios. Okay. Let's ask about that will.
Mr. Manchios says that you begged him to be included in the heritage. Isn't that a little extreme, even for a majordomo?
He's not only my employer, he's my uncle. And I'm his next of kin. The only one. Mr. Manchios flatly refuses to pay a family member. All I have to do is repay his so-called love. Cleaning up the filth after perverts and decadents. He's imprisoned me. The best I can hope for is a new broom. That's why I wanted to have my part of the inheritance.
Is it that bad? You have a roof above your head, a salary, and the status of a majordomo.
For God's sake. I'm forced to dye and stitch my threadbare clothes, and the holes in my shoes are painful. I'm ashamed every time a guest looks at me closely.
Why do you think your uncle treats you this way?
My mother, my uncle's sister, had me illegitimately. She died, and I was given the surname of one of the maids.
But you are entitled to some of the money that belongs to your family.
He thinks not. I was not responsible for my mother's death. I work hard, and he pays me nothing. I feed on the leftovers. While he wastes our estate's property on decadent parties, he paid Fabio handsomely and showered him with expensive gifts for their disgusting relationship.
Okay. What does Manchios have to say about that? Anything? Some new evidence to provide.
I've read the letter about your will. A harsh method of ridiculing Santos. I doubt he will use mustache wax when he wears no mustache to begin with.
Where did you get it? Is the slug here? Tell him I shouldn't have to provide for him. He's a grown man who shouldn't sit on his uncle's neck. He conceives himself as my only heir.
And who is he to you?
He's a leech on my aging body. He has only added problems to my life since the death of his mother.
I fail to see why you made him your majordomo.
He needed to know his place, so I taught him.
Okay. Right, so some clues have been updated. Mr. Pinchetti wants to inherit Manchios' property. He believes that his uncle, Mr. Manchios, does not appreciate his effort and dedication. He can always get a job somewhere else, if he really wanted to, I suppose. Pinchetti's majordomo. The letter may have been from Manchios. According to Santos Pinchetti and by the content of the letter, it may have been addressed to Kurt Manchios. This is true. Okay, so something's been updated in our casebook. Letter from Fabio. Do I need to talk to somebody about this? The letter found in Vogel's pocket may have been addressed to Kurt Manchios. Santos mentions Manchios gifting strange and expensive gifts to Fabio. In the letter, Fabio mentions gifts he would keep due to someone's temperament. It seems that Fabio wrote this angry letter to Manchios. Yeah, that's what I thought. Let's keep going in the Mind Palace. Okay, Santos Pinchetti's efforts in vain. Pinchetti has been forced to work for Kurt Manchios in the desperate hope of obtaining heritage, but it hasn't paid off. Alright, what does Vogel have to say about this letter now?
I have reason to believe that the intended recipient of the incriminating letter may have been Kurt Manchios.
Well, that makes sense. Too bad I can't remember how I came to possess it. Though I did spend quite some time with Mr. Manchios during the party.
Unfortunately, even with an answer, that may still not be enough to clear you with the police. But fear not, I will persevere.
I hope your attempt to put things straight will make up for...
You being on a bender?
touché.
Okay. Shall I ask somebody about that?
Please let me out.
Alright, let's just ask them once more. See if anyone has anything else to add. You do have something else to add.
There is undeniable evidence that you were the original recipient of this letter.
What are you talking about? Is it addressed to me?
Your protégé wanted a fresh start, it seems. This is sufficient to charge you.
Me? Hurt my star? Are you insane that you would accuse me of such a thing?
He did not consider himself as yours. Since you deny everything, let's move on. Do you have any idea as to how the letter could have ended up in Mr. Vogel's pocket?
You were the detective. Perhaps he took it from Fabio. Werner was a little high.
A little high. Okay.
Could Fabio have written this letter to Kurt Manchios?
Oh. That could be. I never thought Mr. Manchios could make Fabio that angry, though.
What do you mean?
Well, Fabio wanted to disassociate from Mr. Manchios. Clients who are in love are both a blessing and a curse.
But Fabio was here tonight.
Money. In our line of work, we can't afford to turn down clients who pay as well as Kurt Manchios.
Was Fabio afraid of Mr. Manchios?
Not at all. The old toad wouldn't dare to do more than sweet talk and touching. Talk can be forgotten, and touching washed away.
Okay. Right. Fabio. Mind Palace. Kurt Manchios had feelings for Fabio. Okay, Fabio shattered Kurt Manchios' feelings. Okay, Manchios set himself up for debauchery. Kurt Manchios carefully prepared himself for the depravity. Manchios washed himself after the murder. Kurt Manchios cleaned himself of blood after Fabius' murder. Set himself up for debauchery. Vogel took the letter under influence. Or Manchios planted the letter. I think Vogel took it under the influence. If you read the letter carefully, it doesn't really relate to Werner Vogel at all. So we're going with that. Pinchetti missed the blood splatter. And there we have somebody we can accuse. The ritual was a cover. Yeah, I mean, the other option is that it was a ritual murder from Matista. Matista is the murderer. Matista was afraid of Fabio's growing popularity and ambition. She wanted to keep him with her as long as possible. In a last-ditch effort, Matista conducted a love ritual during which she killed Fabio. Matista is the product of a tormented life. She knows the difference between good and evil. Perhaps... Looks like we're not going to get any conclusive evidence. Ritual was a cover. Pinchetti missed the blood splatter. It's more likely Santos wanted to get rid of Fabio because of his relationship with Manchios, and he's angry about working there his whole life without being paid properly and without being put into the will. Okay, Santos Pinchetti is the murderer. Pinchetti has worked for his uncle for years in the deep hope of obtaining his heritage. Manchios' hostility and humiliations pushed Pinchetti to kill Fabio and frame his uncle. Manchios' imprisonment would make Pinchetti the only lawful heir. Correct the injustice. The only way for Santos Pinchetti to right his wrongs was to be rid of his monstrous uncle. Pinchetti should be punished for the crime of murder, but he has suffered enough and deserves a fresh start after a prison sentence. Santos Pinchetti snapped. After years of disrespect, Pinchetti devised a plan to be rid of his uncle. However, misery and despair cannot justify murder. Pinchetti is a dangerous and a noose around his neck is all he deserves. Gee, we have to declare a sentence. I would say a prison sentence. Correct the injustice. The only way for Santos Pinchetti to right his wrongs. Okay. Right. So I guess we're going to go to Oswald, Officer Oswald, and let him know. That we've found the murderer. Am I supposed to provide all this evidence now?
This letter proves nothing. Fabio wrote it to Mr. Manchios. It's time to free Mr. Vogel.
Do you really think I'm that naive? I need proof, not words from his friend.
Very well. Mr. Pinchetti told me that Mr. Manchios was lavishing Fabio with expensive and eccentric gifts. The letter mentions rich rewards and attempts to buy Fabio with them. It was written to Mr. Manchios. Who else was showering Fabio with luxuries to buy him? It doesn't fit Mr. Vogel's character.
Look here. We had a deal. Give me the murderer and then take your friend with you. I won't budge otherwise.
Well, fine, but you're just wasting time.
Alright, I think we need to go in and accuse Santos. Let's do that. Manchios. If he was going to kill Fabio, he wouldn't do it in his own establishment. And just leave the body there. That doesn't make any sense. Batista, I don't think, could drag a body onto the altar. And she was Fabio's partner. Santos.
I know who killed Fabio.
So I'm free to go, sir?
Quite the opposite. I think it was you, Mr. Pinchetti.
That is not possible.
Allow me to explain. The blood on your shoe tells me that you were with Fabio. You stabbed him with the dagger while he was still alive. You drew a sigil on him. There was a great deal of blood. You needed to remove it. Blood is almost like glue. It sticks to everything, dries quickly, and is quite visible. But you know how to handle stains. You are Kurt Manchios' major domo. However, despite your best efforts, you missed a spot.
It doesn't make sense, sir. I was never there. I am convinced there's a reasonable explanation.
You staged this decadent ritual so you would not be suspected. After a short fight, you knocked Fabio unconscious. You locked the door and dragged the body to the altar. You wanted to set up someone acquainted with this masquerade.
I don't have the nerve to kill or stage a murder. I can't even leave my uncle's house.
Exactly.
You wanted to be rid of your dear uncle. I myself barely know him and already find him intolerable. You've worked for him for years. Santos, do this. Santos, do that. He doesn't pay you. He doesn't recognize your work. He doesn't see you as family. But you thought that heritage might be yours. Instead, all you'll ever receive is mustache wax. It is painful to witness such a situation. I cannot imagine how it must be for you. So, you decided to frame your uncle. Put the blame for Fabio's murder on him. That way, the heritage is yours, and you are free of him.
Half of what you say is true. I'm in pain. I have had a hard time with my uncle, but I'm not a murderer. I can't even stand up to my uncle. How could I have killed Fabio? He did nothing to me.
He was a source of your troubles too, though. Especially since Mr. Manchios treated him like a king. Your uncle is a cruel man. He used everyone around him to his advantage. I don't believe he even truly loved Fabio. You knew very little love, support, or care from him. You lost your mind, Santos. And innocent people were hurt. I can't allow you to go free, but I can try to help you. I can provide my findings to the police. Decadence and perversity might poison anyone around them.
I don't know what to say. I can't breathe. I need to go outside.
Unfortunately, you can't.
Alright, is that it then?
Are you done yet? Can I leave?
Almost done. I think no matter who we accuse, we're not going to get a firm conclusion, unfortunately. But let's go and talk to Officer Oswald.
Constable, Santos Pinchetti killed Fabio. The evidence is clear.
Is that so? Huh. A man like him has actually grown a pair.
He intended to set up his uncle for the inheritance. The old man had humiliated him for years in every possible way.
Oh, what a bunch of degenerates.
Well, as for Mr. Pinchetti, the evidence tells us that he was wronged and pushed to commit a crime to be rid of his uncle. I suggest that you help in easing his sentence.
That's a sad story, all right. But at least it's good enough for my promotion. As for my part, not everything was in place. Perhaps some documents were transferred somewhere else, but I couldn't find a trace of them. Then I remembered. The discarded document drawers where we put the lost papers or the badly labelled ones. Including the crime scene report of Violet Holmes's case. Everything I've found is on the desk here. Take it.
Your persistence has saved me.
Yeah, well, we had a deal after all. Your friend is free then. You can leave.
Good luck, Constable.
Okay. Let's check out this case. Report 0743. Officers arrived to find the deceased identified as Mrs. Violet Holmes lying in the garden of Stonewood Manor. Visual inspections show the victim to be thoroughly soaked with a deep vertical incision, 2 inches in length down her throat. Her face was swollen and covered in red blotches, likely cause of death, hypoxia. Awaiting confirmation from medical examiner. Main suspect Otto Richter was arrested on the scene. The body was sent for autopsy.
Garden. There's a garden behind our manor. How could I forget? That's where it all happened, where it all went wrong.
Sherry? Oh, you did it, Sherlock! The case is closed, and all rewards belong to the winner. Bravo!
It is merely the triumph of the truth.
Is it? No compromises? No lies? You're happy with your decisions?
Whatever the truth, it had to be revealed. The victim deserved it.
Well, you seem confident in the value of your actions. I guess since I'm free, you were heard after all. By the way, did you get that precious information about your mother? Oh, not that you must.
Yes, I did.
Forgive my intrusion in such a personal matter. I simply worry I'm failing to be of much help to you.
Actually, you were. For some reason, all the archives on the case had disappeared. This was a rare opportunity to obtain the impossible.
Outrageous. Perhaps someone found the truth unpleasant. Society usually rejects those who speak with too much honesty, doesn't it?
A comfortable lie is often preferred to an uncomfortable truth. Still, I believe that the latter should prevail, and I cannot remain silent.
That's quixotism at its best. Your mere truth cannot defeat institutions, systems, and power. Etiquette, religion, marriage, they're all lies told to preserve connections, love, and sanity. And it's all corruptible.
Lies destroy human dignity. How could you make a free decision without any knowledge of the truth?
Are we really free to decide anything in this world, Sherlock?
I take your point. There are some limits on us all, some compromises we must make. Despite my best efforts, we cannot remain entirely objective.
I didn't want to sadden you, Sherlock, only to make you think beyond your boundaries. You're a walking contradiction, Sherlock. You refuse to lie to others, but constantly lie to yourself. How long until the train comes off the track? I cannot look away, but perhaps I should take a few steps back. You're an accident waiting to happen, dear. Until then, I shall bid you adieu.
Okay, so back to the manor. Stonewood Manor. And we should be back on the mother's love case. Let's take a look. More in the Mind Palace as well. Casebook, Oswald's findings. There's the report. Splintered memory. We brought tea. Markov testified against Dr. Ritka. Alright. Let's go inside and take a look. Well, we need to go out the back, don't we?
Home sweet home, Sherry. Sherry, please listen to me. Sherry.
John, I always listen to you.
You don't have to do this. You don't have to go through. I don't know what is beyond this door, but I can feel it. Buzzing, angry, like a fly at the window.
I know. I can sense it too.
You locked away this memory for a reason. There is only pain here.
Pain. And truth.
You do not need to suffer either. There is so much more we can do on Cordona, so many others we could help. There is no coming back from this.
John, my animum, my brother, there is nothing more important in this moment than this truth. I know you fear for me, but my path was set long ago. I can no more step off it than I can ask the avalanche to roll back uphill.
Just... please be careful, Sherry. I love you.
Quite. Come on. We'll go together. Why didn't I remember we had such a big garden?
Maybe you forgot it for your own good.
It is a big garden, isn't it? There's even a lake out here. Gazebo. Can't actually run, just walking. Let me just have a little look around, see if there's anything we can interact with. Statue over here.
Ah, yes. The statue of Merope. My mother was trying to restore it. Pity she never had the opportunity to finish. Mother?
Broken teacup.
That's from Mother's favorite tea set. What is it doing in here?
Okay, am I supposed to... Oh, I'm okay. Great. I thought that was a cutscene. I was waiting for something to happen. I'm very small, so this is from Sherlock's childhood.
Come here, Sherry. Hurry!
Okay. Just watching this. I think it's just repeating. Alright, where are we going, John? Oh, I found some potassium bromide.
These must help calm her down.
Okay. That was interesting.
What are you thinking about? Is everything all right? What are you thinking about? Is everything all right? Don't go, Mother, wait!
Okay.
I remember this artifact from Mother's collection. Mother's work journal. I liked poring over the detailed pages and reading about my parents' collection.
Okay, so I'm not going to wait for the cutscene here, because I know there isn't one. Let's take a quick look around, check out the shield, see what we can interact with. I think just this artifact here on the desk.
Here it is. We'll just borrow it for a while.
Did you hear that? Someone's coming. Let's take a peek.
Okay. Anything else to do?
You call this progress? Charlotte, amateur. I'm not letting you anywhere near my mother again.
Any result is progress, even if it is a worsening of her condition. It informs my...
No. I have made my decision. She must be sent to a legitimate medical facility. I will not let her hurt Sherlock.
What? Master Holmes, you do not understand.
That will be all. I expect you to have left the house by week's end.
Sherry, say something. Can you hear me? You're scaring me.
I'm waiting for you.
There he's in the manor. The door to the garden is finally unlocked. The answers to all my questions await. Tea and sedatives. We brought tea. Risk of side effects. Dr. Richter experimented on my mother with unconventional drugs and treatments. Every dose had a risk of side effects. Increased tolerance. My mother used sedatives frequently, so her body must have built up a tolerance. It wouldn't be a danger to her. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? Mental disease. She drowned. My mother drowned. Her throat wound could either be a final humiliation by her killer or a desperate attempt to save her. Makes no sense to do this if she was drowning. Once again, no idea. Allergic reaction. My mother had an unexpected allergic reaction to her medication and she suffered from this possible. Okay, let's keep going.
Sherlock, I'm here. Come closer. Sherry, come here, darling.
Coming, Mother. This was for my mother, wasn't it? I remember how we came to the garden for a breath of fresh air.
Take me to my flowers, Sherry. They must already be in bloom.
As you wish, Mum. I bet you missed the fresh air, didn't you?
Terribly. The sun is far brighter than I remember. But I like it.
We can walk each day from now on, if you want.
That would be wonderful. Just look at them. The stars of the earth. Even the sky must be jealous of their beauty.
Indeed. Mother, would you like to go around the water?
That would be perfect. I always wanted such a nice pond in London. It looks so peaceful.
Mycroft knew you would like it.
We should put some fish in it, don't you think?
How about some carp?
That's a nice idea.
Okay, a lap around the pond.
Let's visit your father's tree. It grows so fast, just like you.
We could even build a tree house in it.
Yes, Sherry.
So Sherlock's memory is coming back.
Speaking of your father, could you call him out, please?
Mom! I'm sorry. He passed away. He's gone.
No, he's not.
I'm telling the truth. Did you forget again?
No! Don't you dare say such things! You are a liar like all the others!
Mother!
Don't call me that! You aren't fooling me!
No! Mum, it hurts!
My son would never lie!
Mum, stop!
Who are you? Reveal yourself!
Please, stop! It's me, Sherlock!
You are not my Sherry! Get me my stuff, I can't throw you!
Okay, Mycroft caught Richter. Mycroft testified against Richter. She didn't drown. Mental disease, hysteria in garden, fragile sanity. My mother's troubles with mental disease could well be hereditary. Okay. My mother tried to kill me. My mother tried to drown me in the pond at Stonewood Manor, which leads to John and I are responsible. How does that lead to that? John is the killer. I killed my mother. I am responsible for my mother's death. It was my idea to give her medication, which caused the allergic reaction that killed her. It's my guilt. Maybe. What other? Risk tolerance. She drowned. Someone drowned my mother either by accident or on purpose. Suspicious psychiatrist. There's not really any other options here. There's not a great many options either. So I guess you would assume it's the doctor killed her, drowned her for some reason. It's more likely she had an allergic reaction because of the drugs we put in the tea, or Sherlock put in the tea. So she didn't drown. She had an allergic reaction. John, I mean, in later novels, Sherlock meets the real John, so maybe this is the time to get rid of John. Yeah, let's do that. I killed my... it was my idea to give her medication which caused the allergic reaction. Alright, let's see what happens.
Sherlock. Sherlock. Can you hear me? Come on, wake up.
Get off me.
Sherry,
You knew, and more than that, you hid it from me.
you couldn't bear the truth, Sherlock, so I shouldered it for you. I took your pain, your horror.
I killed my own mother, John. It is unforgivable.
It was an accident, Sherlock. She was mad, abusive. You were a child, simply trying to help.
How could I? How could she? You were a lie, John. A fiction. A crutch.
No, I was a friend. Sherlock, please.
Sherlock,
What?
are you okay?
I don't know.
I told you not to come, Sherlock. Where is he?
Who?
Your friend, John.
He's beside you.
Was all this worth it? Is he worth it?
Why is he here?
I think, in his own way, he was trying to protect me. From a truth I couldn't bear. But now I must face it. There is only one thing to be done.
What are you talking about?
To expect adherence to the principles of truth and justice, but to fail to hold oneself likewise accountable, it would be hypocrisy. My mother died by my hand. I must turn myself into the authorities and face the consequences of my actions.
The consequences of your actions? You were a child. She did this to you, not you unto her. You are throwing your life away in an act of moralistic vanity. Think of all you could accomplish for our nation.
This is where we differ, Mycroft. To you, the ends justify the means. To me, the means have decided the end. The truth is the truth.
Fine, Sherlock. Walk yourself into the police station and pray those men you oft embarrassed hold no grudges. If you're lucky, they'll simply exile you. If not, I'll see you in 20 years.
Are you going to berate me too? Try and talk me out of it? As I told my brother, if I cannot demonstrate the character I chastise others for lacking...
Sherry, I think This is something you will have to do yourself.
Myself? How do you mean?
All I ever did, all I ever wanted, was to protect you from what happened. And now you tell me I was wrong to try, that it was ego or hypocrisy to show a young boy kindness. But it was just empathy, creativity, and love for one's self. So please, please, Sherlock, don't do it.
Why can none of you see it? The truth is the truth. A murder is a murder. Tell me, John, why?
Because you're breaking my heart. I know. You've decided. I know. I just wish you hadn't.
I'm sorry, John. All these years we spent together, all the time I took for granted. You'll always be a part of me.
No, Sherry. That's the point. I don't think I will.
Why are you here?
Closure, I suppose. And to help a friend.
You and I are not friends. In a race between the thawing of the ice caps and our friendship, I would buy a boat.
Ha! Is that right?
I can see it now. I know what you did.
What did I do?
You needled me. From the moment we met, you were searching for weakness. You pushed me to pursue the truth about my mother. You questioned everything I did, everything I believed, to break me. To blur truth and fiction, reality, morality. A saboteur in silk. Was it vengeance, Werner? Or do you prefer Klaus?
Excuse me?
You are Klaus Richter, Otto's younger brother. Do you hold me responsible for his end?
Ha! There was no love lost between me and my brother. I am sure you can relate. Otto was merely the gravity that pulled me into your orbit. Or you into mine. Once I met you, I could not keep away.
Why? What reason do you have for all this?
To help you.
You're lying.
To show you that you were wrong.
More lies. I know you now, Werner. Try again.
To see what had happened. Or is that yet another untruth? Does it matter? Take your pick. Who cares? You're my masterpiece. I turned Sisyphus into Ozymandias. You could not see the futility of your quest until I helped you to let go of the rock. And now, nothing beside remains.
I remain. Despite you and to spite you.
It is a matter of will and power now. Will you overcome this, or shall you decay? Oh, on that note, I brought you something.
I want nothing more from you.
When one wants for nothing, Sherlock, the best thing to get them is something personal. So, here you are. Now, please excuse me, but the gallery calls. I'm already conceiving my next project. You really are beautiful.
I was prepared to take responsibility for my actions, but again my brother conspired against me. A little diplomatic pressure and the trial was dismissed. Instead, I was exiled from Cordona. Freedom never tasted so bitter. Another perversion of justice at Mycroft's hand. With no means, no home, and no purpose, I returned to London. I enrolled at Cambridge University, but few lectures held my interest. I prefer to spend time alone at the hospital laboratory, pursuing truths in chemical form. No one there questions my choices. I have begun to attract a desperate clientele, men that skulk after me, pleading for answers to their simple mysteries. At first, the distraction was unwelcome. Now, I find myself craving it, lest my mind drift back to the island, to Mother, to John. What was her life worth? How many adulterers and petty thieves will it take to make it right? Can anything? I found it! I found it! I found it!
And what is that?
How far, bruises may be produced after death. How are you? You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive.
How on earth did you know that?
Never mind. The question now is about bruising. No doubt you see the significance of this discovery of mine.
It is interesting, no doubt, but practically...
Why, it is the most practical medico-legal discovery for years. Had we these data sooner, hundreds of men would have paid the penalty for their crimes. Cases oft hinge upon how a man died. Now, we can know which wounds he suffered alive, which occurred post-mortem, and what instrument was responsible. And ergo, one will soon be able to calculate with utmost precision when and where death occurred, sparing the innocent and damning the guilty.
Well, then you are to be congratulated.
Indeed. But, you came here on business.
Correct again. I am looking for someone with whom to take diggings, and heard you were complaining that you could get no one to go halves with you.
I have my eye on a suite in Baker Street, which would suit us down to the ground. You don't mind the smell of strong tobacco, I hope?
I smoke ships myself.
That's good enough. I get in the dumps at times, and don't open my mouth for days on end. Just let me alone, and I'll soon be right. What have you to confess now? It's best for two fellows to know what bruises each other carries before they begin to live together. My last companion and I...
Well, I object to rows because my nerves are shaken, and I get up at all sorts of ungodly hours, and I am extremely lazy. I have another set of vices when I'm well, but those are the principal ones at present.
Do you include violin playing in your category for rout?
It depends on the player. A well-played violin is a treat for the gods. A badly played one...
Oh, no, that's all right. I think we may consider the thing as settled. Oh, forgive my manners. My attention wavers. Sherlock Holmes.
Dr. John Watson.
John.
And that is the end of Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1. I was hoping we would get to meet the real Dr. Watson at the end of the game, and we did. So I'm happy about that. It's a pretty interesting game. Some interesting cases. I would have liked it if there were some more conclusive endings to some of the cases. Some of them were just left completely open, so you weren't really sure if you were accusing the right person or not. Some of them did have a fixed ending, which I preferred. But overall, it was pretty good. Found it pretty entertaining, and I hope you've enjoyed this playthrough. So I'll see you all again soon.